Check it out. So right now I have a student teacher who is asking really great questions, and she is actually the inspiration of this video. These are 8 tips that I have for new teachers, 8 pieces of advice. If you're new here, hi, welcome to Teaching with Alexa. I am Alexa, not that machine. I was here first. I feel like you should know where this advice is coming from. So a little bit about me.
Good morning. I'd like to introduce myself.
I teach high school English currently, but I have experience through grades 6 through 8. I have taught bilingual language arts, regular English language arts. I've taught honors English language arts. Mostly 7th and 8th grade is where my background lies, and I'm in my 2.5 I've been teaching for 2.5 years at the high school. Look, the truth is I get a little silly when I hit that record button. And just a little FYI, some of the information that I share with you today, I have created vlogs about. And if that's the case, check the description box for an easy link to that video. If it helps, if it applies to you, here we go. Number 1 is pretty basic, pretty foundational, but it needs to be said. Don't worry about screwing up. You're not perfect. Think about any job that exists. You're going to screw up at some point because it is part of the learning process. So just take that weight off your back right now. You might screw up, you'll learn from it, it's going to be okay. Let's go to number 2. You might be a little concerned with the content, or at least I know that I was when I first started, but try to switch gears a little bit. You should be more concerned with how you want them to behave so that they understand whatever content it is you're teaching them. So what I'm getting at, be clear with your expectations and your consequences. Know your consequence system. I call it a consequence ladder. I know I'm not the only one who calls it that. It might take some time for you to figure out, through trial and error, what exactly you would like your consequence system to be, because sometimes things are easier said than done. It'll take some time to figure out. Let me give you some examples. So let's say some students continue to walk into your class and they're not doing what they're supposed to do. Do they know what the consequence is? And are you following through with it? What if a student continues to fail on everything? Is there a consequence for that? What does that student know about, hey, what's gonna happen to me if I keep failing? Maybe the consequence is repeating work that they've done in the past, or doing some extra credit, some kind of a consequence for failing. It's inevitable. Students are going to try to take out their cell phones when they're not supposed to. I've never experienced a class where this has not happened. What is the consequence for that going to be? I do have a really good vlog on that. I love my consequence system, but the point is you need to know what your consequences are going to be, and you need to share that with your students, and you need to be clear and consistent so that everybody knows what rules to follow, so that whatever the content is that you're concerned about teaching, they actually learn it. The third thing I feel that you should know, not every teacher might agree with, but these are my tips, these are my insights. I feel that you should get into the mindset of just kind of knowing that your first 1 to 2 years, you're probably gonna work 6 days a week.
What?
It's unfair. Nobody wants to hear that. I really badly want to tell you, if you balance your time right, you can get it done in 5 days. Maybe you can. Who am I? I've only been doing this for 10 years, but I just know how much it is, from the emails to the paperwork to you're learning so much for the first time. It's hard to turn off your teacher brain the first year. I'm even going to say the first 2 years. I used to feel like I was a nerd, like I was crazy that I was working 6 days a week and, having a hard time turning off my teacher brain. But I know all of these years later, it wasn't just me, it's most of us. So if it's most of us, then I just feel this is something you should know, because I really thought that I was personally some kind of a workaholic, or that I was doing something wrong because I couldn't get everything done in time, like maybe I wasn't understanding. But no, it is very normal to have to work 6 days a week, especially if you're like me and you're an English teacher, because reading and grading and all the things, getting to know the stories and creating questions, we are just not allotted enough time in the school day. My first lesson plan alone, I remember it took me 8 hours. Nobody taught me. how to structure a lesson plan. I had the most amazing cooperating teacher in my student teaching. She was amazing, but she created all the lesson plans and I just followed, and I was able to, manipulate and adjust what I needed to for whatever it is I wanted to do. And I didn't know who was reading it, if it was being read, how closely it was being read. It took me 8 hours. You tell me where I'm supposed to find the time. It's my Sunday, like lesson planning at the diner. While I'm on the topic of lesson planning, let me give you number 4. 4 is to save you time. Don't do what I did. When you're creating your lesson plans, the first thing I suggest that you do, because there's a lot to the plans, right? Like I'm talking about after you have listed your standards and your essential questions. I'm talking about the Monday through Friday setup. List all of your objectives first. Just go right to your lesson plan and go, okay, Monday, here's my objective. Tuesday, here's my objective. Wednesday, here's my objective. Don't go, Monday, here's my objective and here's my do now and here's what I'm gonna do to motivate. Here's my mini lesson, here's my through lesson, here's my individual. Save so much time listing your objectives first and then filling in everything else as you go. I'm just gonna leave it at that. And if you would like for me to share how I create my lesson plans in the most time-effective way, let me know in a comment. The 5th thing that I want you to know, oh, this one's great. You don't have to grade everything. One of the best things that you can do for your students is grade work and give it back right away. That immediate feedback is crucial in keeping the momentum going and for their growth and improvement, because if you wait too long, they've kind of forgotten and lost interest in what it is that they were working on. So how can you grade and return so many assignments every single day? Like you can't, okay? Pick and choose what you grade. Most students I know don't even notice when they don't get their work back. You decide what's important, what is relevant to their grade, what is relevant in the skills that they should know, and you grade that. Okay. I love number 6. I love number 6 because this could potentially be one of the busiest times of our day, and this is managing students when they first come into our class. You should know how you want your students to enter and exactly what it is that you want them to do.
I have this funny problem with my ears. I don't like a lot of noise, so maybe you could do it quietly. Thank you so much.
This could be a whole vlog in itself, right? But the main thing, know what it is you want them to do when they enter the room, because during this time is when they have lots of questions for you. What's my grade right now? Can I go to the bathroom? Can I go to my locker? Do we need laptops today? Do I need my notebook? Do you have a pencil? Like all the questions. Also, this is a time when like there might be horseplay by the door if you're not standing there. It's a really good idea to have this routine established from day 1. I do have a vlog about this if you want to check it out. A quick rundown of what I do. I stand by the door. When students walk in, they have all their materials right by the door. Everything from, we have our pencil system and the sharpeners and the highlighters and all the things, and they know where their books are. They take their folder, which has their notebook in it, and they know that when they sit down, they're doing one of 2 things. They are either copying notes or answering a question in their notebook, or they are grabbing a laptop and they're answering a question on Pear Deck. This is the routine every single day, and by the time they're done doing that, I have had time to do whatever it is I need to do. Number 7. Don't think that you have to know all of your content. I feel like there's this misconception when you're coming out of college or it's your first year teaching that you have to know everything that's in the book. You have to know everything about English. You have to know all the eras and you have to know all the skills. You have to know everything. In any content area, math, science, that's just not true, okay? It's just not true. Some things you'll know. Some things you'll think you don't know and then you'll brush up on it and realize you remember. Some things you'll be seeing for the first time. Regardless, it's okay because you kind of learn through teaching. Please do not overwhelm yourself. Don't do it to yourself and think that you have to know everything. And when I don't know something, I will tell my students and I'll say, let's learn this together. I'll give you an example from last week. It has been so long since I've read The Fall of the House of Usher. I teach Edgar Allan Poe. I know so much about his life. If you follow me on Instagram, if you watch my vlogs, mostly my shorts, you might know that I am a huge Poe fan, but I have never actually taught The Fall of the House of Usher. And it is a complicated text for my 10th graders. So it was kind of a learning curve for me. I'm gonna tell you, I taught it for 2 days, and that 3rd day, I taught it a completely different way. So my point is, you don't have to know it all right? The final moment of insight, number 8. I saved it for last because boy, oh boy, is it important. It might be more important than everything I have said thus far. And I bet you've heard it. And when you hear it, you better take it seriously. I'm gonna say it. Take care of your mental health. Teacher quit talk is serious. The shortage is serious. I see teachers dropping like flies. Don't be overwhelmed and stressed by the teacher quit talk, because like everyone's experience is just so different, and there are so many elements to consider: that person, what's going on in their personal life, how their school is treating them, what their background is like, what they deal with their students, and just all the things. I don't want you to get stressed out and overwhelmed and immediately go, this is why teachers are quitting, I need to quit right now. It's like being on stage all day, which is fine when you have energy and it's fine when you feel prepared, but every day just doesn't go like that, okay? I might not have everything planned, maybe I didn't get around to grading, and now my next day is stressful, which could then ripple effect into having a stressful week. What am I talking about? Where am I going with this? Taking care of yourself. I know everybody should take care of themselves. Mental health, and I'm glad it's talked about. It's so talked about, right? But teaching, you really, really, really have to. It is exhausting. I'll share with you a few ways that I take care of myself. I go to bed at a decent time. Sometimes my husband will call me an old lady. I know I need my sleep. My alarm goes off at 4:45 because I have a commute and kids to get ready for school and kids to drop off and all the things. So I go to bed at a decent time. I eat healthy, okay? I don't claim to be the most healthy person in the world, but I eat healthy because I know that if I eat things that I feel weigh me down, I know it's going to affect me later. I work out, I go for walks, I get outside when I can. I meditate, and I'm not afraid to say it. I make it a point to talk to other adults. I know that sounds silly, but it's so easy to get caught up in the day-to-day and never leave your classroom. Maybe you talk to people on social media, but that face-to-face interaction with adults, you might find yourself barely having adult conversations face-to-face for a while. I make sure that I do that because something about it just makes me feel good. I listen to podcasts that inspire me. For example, this morning I was listening to Rachel Hollis. Every time I listen to her, she just inspires me. I have so many more tips that I would love to share with you, but that's it for today. Thank you for watching. Have a great school year. If you like what you saw today, subscribe for more.